Hello everyone, this is Jimmy Cultist, and today we're going to be doing something a bit different. It's more of a sculptural video. Could be considered something of a log of development, I guess. But I'm going to be sculpting the famous monster from the Godzilla series, Megalon. Maybe not the most famous, but he has his fans. And we're going to try out this content if people are into it, because I've been making a lot of Godzilla stuff recently, and my intentions are to sort of, get a little work done on the channel while also getting some work done on my game that I am creating currently. And, so let us know what you think of this content, and if you want to see more of this sort of thing. And we'll take it into consideration. We're probably going to do multiple parts for this. I don't want to speed it up like we usually do unless it's absolutely necessary. Probably won't be doing it at all this time. But I'm going to go ahead and set its speed to 4. These are just the presets before you start sculpting. Things you want turned off: upper body movement, motion sensor off, auto look off, otherwise he'll follow the imp, and that will move him if you're pressing play. We're also going to want some good lighting. Oh, and I would change this to black. It's always good for sculpting. Helps make the central figure pop out better. Get some good bright light going. Take down the horizon definition and the randomness. And yeah, that's a good sculpt setup for me. A little disclaimer: if you're expecting classic Megalon from the film, unfortunately this is not a recreation of Megalon. It is my own interpretation. So, yeah, just be aware of that. Go ahead and get rid of those. Now we'll see if we can get his pose. That's the first order of business. The body shape can be easily achieved with the stretch tool if you want to lengthen the legs or shorten them. You can also shrink them a little bit, which I think I will do because that's just the way. Well, maybe I'll leave them the same height. Or same size, I should say. But yes, Megalon. I'm not gonna lie, I like my Megalon wide. From side to side, that is. Just gotta get the measurements right. I think we'll give him some big arms, at least long arms. We'll see how that turns out. Might change my mind later. I usually go through a lot of variations as I'm sculpting the creature. I do have some concept art to work off of, so I will be bearing that in mind. But let's see if we can take a stab at the basic shape. Having trouble with this. I think that's good. Might be too far, we'll see. Might want the legs closer together. Now, with these things, these Godzilla creations, or any puppet for that matter, I like to get a frame of reference. If you're using a picture, you want to start, use something as a measuring stick for how large the rest of him should be. And I think in some cases I use the head, in some cases I use the chest. In this case, I think I'm going to use the legs. Also, I don't mind using this fleshy tone as opposed to the blue color this time, because I want to kind of highlight the additions, I guess. Also, to get rid of this weird square shape, make sure it's on clipped mirror and make sure it's on stamp. But I want to get rid of this weird blockiness that we've got going on here. Oh, there must still be some remaining. If you turn on hide everything else, you can easily see, you know, remaining sculptural patterns or whatnot. It's okay to have the sculpt really, you know, basic at first, like just kind of a big, fat, puffy marshmallow right now with no surface detail, but that's just fine because what we're essentially creating, you know, is the basic shape. Also, I want to get rid of that square look again. Let's go ahead and hide everything else. That way we can do this properly. That's good. Now we'll guess we'll work on the feet. Gotta delete those too. They're getting in the way. We'll go with normal spheres this time. We just need a basis for the feet. It doesn't have to look great. Also, he's slightly off the ground, but that's kind of intentional. I want to be able to see underneath if necessary. And we're going to go ahead and squash these spheres down just a little bit. And I may also go ahead and we'll delete everything but that. But there's Megalon's feet. Kind of looks like he's wearing big shoes. Hopefully we'll have something pretty good by the end of this. You know, to look at, that is. Kind of working with a creature that has a tail, so I want this area to sort of stick out a bit. And we can make adjustments or changes to these things later. It might help if you're designing a creature. This goes for anything really, but to look at real examples of how, you know, animal body parts or insect body parts fit together. If you need, like, you know, like, oh, how should I make this look? It's a good example. I really would like this to be further out. I'm going to see what I can do about that. I think that'll do. Well, we're getting somewhere. And we can change this later anytime we want. I don't know if I like that shape. I think I might go for something a bit more... Yeah, a bit more like this. A very important part is where the puppet's joints, you know, they join. This connection point here. Looks a bit like a Michelin tire man at the moment. I'm going to do something a bit different with the drills. I will have a basic cone, shape going on, just so we sort of have a guide of where they're going to be. Alternatively, we might actually want a separate sculpt for the drill. The main reason is if we want to use kaleidoscope, which I do intend to use later, it's best to have the center of the sculpt firmly in mind. So just stamp out a cylinder, set to clip mirror, and basically the center of that cylinder will be the center of your kaleidoscope, should you want to use that. So let's just move that in. And we'll go ahead and make a nice big old drill. I guess if we want to get it centered, we might use kaleidoscope again. Now, which one of these is the... Yeah, let's go this way. That might help a bit. I've also got it on mirror, so that's gonna, affect it, but I think that's okay for now. Let's see if we can get these things dead center. The camera actually controls this, so it's kind of weird. Alright, it'll do nicely. Also, if you want them to spin, I would highly advise taking an invisible piece of material stamping it out like so, upright. It will be invisible later. And since it is invisible, the detail will be decreased, but we'll get to that later, and it will be non-collidable. But basically it's just going to act as a mount for the drill once it's complete. A motor bolt will do nicely. You could potentially use grid snap. Let's see how good we can get it. Let's try 16. And we'll try hitting the center of our little, That's not perfect, but it probably do. Oh, that didn't even work. That's strange. Let's try that again. Maybe there's something not quite right here. Alright, that worked. And if you set on X-ray mode, you'll be able to see what we're looking at. That's a pretty decent turn. A little crooked, but, Let's see if we can straighten this thing out just a bit. Luckily, the end of the drill makes a nice center of reference. Yeah, that looks more crooked than before. Now, what area? I think it's that. Well, I don't know what it could be, but there's alternative ways to go about this. One way is you could just record an animation. You could basically group them like so. And we'll need this open for later. But we'll just record an animation real quick. Hopefully this will work. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to move it ahead. Move it ahead just a little bit. Just a little bit again. Get it lined up nicely. A little bit again. Oh, I think we turned it the wrong direction. Make sure you turn it clockwise, or counterclockwise, I should say. Also, I believe Precise Move tells you the exact degrees that you're moving it. And then we'll just go in here, copy this to the end, make sure they're sent on smooth. I guess we can actually do away with the timeline and just leave it on loop. Also, make sure that this is not movable. Well, that's kind of rough around the edges. Yeah, maybe a bolt is the best way to go. Well, that's as smooth as we're going to get it. I think that's good. We're going to take it down to 0 for now. Alright. So this is complete, and it's within the puppet's, you know, scoped area. If it's not, you can just grab it, you know, the whole thing, and scope it in manually with L1 and X while holding it with R2, so that's one way you could do it. Let's take it in here real quick. And from here you could pretty much alter the size and shape of the drill, you know, using the Sculpt tools, so yeah, if we ever need to do that, we will. And let's go ahead and make the base low detail, because we're not going to be using it. It's not going to be visible. And we're just going to take the whole drill and group it with the hand. Then we are going to go ahead and scope in here and delete the hand. It seems to be working all right. Now I believe this is the hand's bolt, so basically this is going to act as the pivot point for our drill as it's connected to the elbow. Might as well join it right here so that we mostly have these things working together. That's just in case you want to move the drill for whatever reason. I don't really think it's necessary, but you know. Now we're going to need to do exactly what I mentioned before. Oh, and don't forget live clone. Alright, we'll do that. Then we'll scope, flip it like this, hold R2, then L1, and then X, scope it in. And I think these are basically on the same wavelength. Now we will have to move that hand, you know, and do all that rigmarole again. Delete. And move up the bolt, but it's relatively simple, I would say. And you can use the other one as a basis. And we use mirror. Yeah, they roughly align. They lift at the same pattern. Okay, well there's Megalon's drills in place. Yeah, they are going to be a little saggy. Not sure why that is. Could be because they're collidable. Could also be because they're movable. I think that's why it is. They're movable when only the group should be movable, but not the actual drills inside. There we go. Well, that's that all done with. I feel like mainly we've been messing around with his drills this entire time, but they are an important factor in Megalon's design, so I will say that, you know. It's probably worthwhile to get that sorted out. I want to kind of get his little toes more defined there. And the edges of his feet. Don't know why, just think it would come in handy later. And we can even trim off some, like right about here. I think that's pretty good. I suppose we could work on the head and the neck. I don't really think the neck is going to be excessively visible, but, you know, I guess we are going to have to consider it just in case it does crop up later. Let's see if we can get his head shape worked out. I think we'll use spheres to do this. And we're going to go ahead and delete this just so it doesn't cause any interference. Now the shape and the height of the head will be important. And the size, of course. Megalon kind of has like this... my design and the original one both have this sort of lumpy, upright quality. This is just the basic shape of his head. And we're going to use the stretch tool to get it in the right position, because I kind of favor a head that's lower down on his back. And we're going to go ahead and copy this out, delete these limbs and the neck, make it non-movable. And the primary reason why we're doing this is because I want a nice basis for his upper chest plate, or whatever it is. Not entirely sure. But it is an aspect of his design. which I'm interested in getting the basis for. I'm also going to do it with the arms. And later on, we're going to group these things to their appropriate, you know, places. It's just for now we're doing it this way. Actually, honestly, in this scenario, we might want to just make an original sculpt. Because I want the center of the mirror to be his, you know, the center of his arm or whatever. We're going to create a half sphere just by tapping this section button. And you'll notice that it's on smear, which we don't really want. We want stamp. But to fix that, it's as easy as pressing L1 and triangle. And as you can see, now it's on stamp instead of smear. Anyway, that'll do nicely. Let's just move that into place. And we can alter it later. It doesn't exactly matter, just so long as we have the centering right. And make sure to live clone it, of course. Another thing you can do is some of these things are still collidable. If you want to like fix that, just double tap real quick. And everything that's not grouped will be made non-collidable. And that's, you know, that's that. All solved with everything. I also think we ought to get down to the wings, or at least the outer carapace, or whatever they call it. The protective sheath for the wings. And there's two ways you can go about it. Probably the easiest way is just to make a sculpt for the wing, you know, on one side and then duplicate it on the other. Another way, though, is to use the mirror tool and to just, like, if you want his exact center, basically just do something kind of like this, you know. Let's get these in place. I don't really like that shape, of course. It's going to take some maneuvering to get the shape I want. It's very specific. Also, that's too long. We don't want to block out where his tail's going to be. Hopefully this is very informative to the, you know, if you're trying to make something similar, this might come in handy. We'll see. But yeah, something like that is what I'm aiming for. Let's see if we can blend it just a little bit. Maybe correct that later. Add some lumpiness to it. Well, that'll just have to do for now. That's kind of his basic wing shape. And the tail we can make as a single sculpt. Honestly, actually, we could just copy out the wings real quick because they're essentially in center. And I think the best way to do the tail would probably just be take a couple of spheres. I will want to hide the wing, though. We can correct the size and shape later. Just take a couple of spheres like so. We're going to set these ones on blend. I'm going to take off grid snap. And let's move it down a tad. I think it would be better down about here. We could delete this now, because we've thoroughly got our guide. But basically just grab this with L1 and R2, and hold R2, don't let go, and press the left arrow on the D-pad to copy these out. And there you have a tail. It's a bit thin, but we can add, you know, some girth to it later. Actually, I think we're making this too thin in general. Let's go back. I'm adding a lot more tail than Megalon usually has, actually. He's got a fairly short tail. Can I have it stick up a little bit? Now, of course, the wings aren't really intersecting with that very well, but it doesn't matter. I think I might actually resize the wings, because they're almost too small. Gonna make them a little larger. My interpretation of Megalon is almost like some kind of tortoise shell or something. Tortoise shell-like wings. And we're going to copy out this upper section because I want to make a sheath. Not sure what they call that. I'm not an insect expert. I forget what they call insect experts. But yes, we can correct this later too. Or we could just kind of trim off the top of these wings here. Yeah, that's better. It's an interesting Megalon interpretation. Perhaps not in the most positive sense, depending on your tastes, but you know. I occasionally do exact recreations, or at least nearly exact recreations, you know, of Godzilla monsters, but it kind of bores me a bit. I have a lot more fun when I can, you know, sort of, you know, come up with my own interpretation, even if it's not a huge change. You gotta be careful with Godzilla monsters because they're sort of, too much change actually makes things worse. And we're gonna get a couple of turn off mirror for this. But yeah, looking back at a lot of the older Godzilla monster designs, you know, Megalon, he's from actually a pretty cheap movie when they were essentially, you know, essentially throwing in the towel and kind of running down the budget. But he's got a surprisingly good design. Like, it's kind of memorable. Anyway, we can correct these later. These are like his jaw plates or whatever, mandibles, I guess you'd call them. We're basically just trying to get a setup for them. Recently, they made a fan film, I believe, for Godzilla vs. Megalon, where they reinterpreted it and sort of, you know, upgraded it. It wasn't bad. You know? Kind of neat to see people actually, you know, redoing this old stuff. Now I think we'll go ahead and get his eyes in position. We'll make them white so they stand out from the rest of him. I'm gonna want something kind of spherical. So maybe something that sticks out less. And maybe we'll, just in case, I don't know if this is necessary, but let's try setting it on mirror. You never know. It's good to have mirror just in case. We may need it later. I may be biased, but I think that Megalon... I'm kind of surprised he doesn't get more love in the in mainstream films. I mean, he's kind of I don't know. It's like, it seems like he's kind of an important character to me. Like, as far as like if you're actually in the fandom, you know, a lot of people like Megalon. Really surprised he hasn't shown up in the Legendary Pictures films yet. We're gonna try to get the basis for his horn. Not sure how to approach it. It's kind of geometrically difficult. Something like this, probably. Too thin, though. Need something much thicker. Big, thick horn. We can make adjustments later. Hard blend sometimes yields good results, so I would toy around with that sometimes when you're making stuff like this. This is only the basis for the horn. I'm gonna have to upgrade it later. And we're gonna have to copy the head. Just make sure to make it non-movable. Take the blend amount down just a tad. I feel like the eyes also need to be larger, but that might just be my imagination. Or higher up at the very least. And the nose, or whatever it is, needs to be pointier. Not that pointy, but pointier. And we're gonna have to do some dinkering with the eyes. I guess the shape just isn't working for what I want. Go ahead and reduplicate this just to kind of get the position right. take down the blend amount. And cut this into a section. A little bit of blend, not too much. I think we also might want to move the jaws up a little bit. I think we might do a little copy here. Slightly shift this. That way I can more exactly get these plates the way I want them to be. Or we could just sacrifice the center of our mirror, which I think is what I'm going to do. I don't often like to do it because it tends to have unforeseen consequences. But to get the shape I want, it's probably going to be necessary. Let's move these up just a little bit. We'll try duplicating again. I just gotta get the hang of this. Non-movable. And it seems like it's in a pretty good position. It's good to have everything free-floating, you know, and not grouped with the puppet yet. That way you can make adjustments as you have to. Don't know what happened there. My controller is just a little bit suspect. It's not been working very good lately. I think we're gonna have to hide this real quick. So we can get a good look at what we're doing. And we'll duplicate the lower leg also, that way we have a bit more control. And we can mess with those later. It isn't exactly what I want, but you know, we can start fixing things up in the future. Well, maybe not. Maybe we can just go in and delete that. Don't be afraid to change your mind, I'll tell you that. When you're sculpting, if you get the idea that something should be different, go ahead and change it if it's not too much work, I suppose, because, you know, at a certain point you just have to make a new sculpture entirely if the changes are too vast. But now we are starting to get somewhere. Gotta bulk up the arms just a bit. And with half spheres, you can sort of add this this better definition, you know, the sharper edges. Let's make this a bit bigger. And we're going to set on hard blend. That way we have kind of a more, you know, sharp edge to the thing. And we're going to go ahead and duplicate it just so we get the position right. Maybe make it larger too, move it ahead. That seems good. And we can correct this part later. It's not looking especially good to me. Can all be corrected later. I guess we don't need hard blend on either, kind of going overboard with the hard blend, but we'll see. Let's take it off of hard blend. Yeah, that's pretty good, I think. Unhide the wings so that we know how far that's protruding. It seems to work. Move the arms a bit. Don't think we necessarily need them clipping with the wing like that. Shrink the drills just a tad. Or not, actually. We'll see about that later. Maybe big drills are better. Yeah, I think we've almost got something going here. Gonna make these a little larger. Might even up the size of his torso, although that's going to be a bit of a problem. Let's... I think did we grab everything? Gotta grab all of his stuff if we're going to resize it. Or we could just group it. I mean, what the heck, we're probably going to end up doing that anyway. Make sure you're grouping everything with the right layer. Can't really undo it easily later. There, I think that's about right. Could maybe make the head smaller. Definitely doesn't hurt. Or bigger, what would that look like? Actually, bigger kind of looks a little better to me. But we are out of time. So that's as far as we've gotten with Megalon. Not bad, he's starting to look like something. We're going to give a quick shout out to our monthly supporters on Coffee. There they go, they keep us gainfully employed. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss another video. If you wish to support our earnest insanity, you can check the links in the description to donate or buy merch. Until next time, goodbye.